over here with it. Easy there. Great.
Rates are low today. The time is right to improve your home. We have home improvement loans and we're lending right now. Join your neighbors and friends and people all over our local communities who are improving the quality of their lives by improving the quality of their homes. We're an equal housing lender.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community-minded just like you.
And good morning on this Monday, the 20th of January, 2014. Milton Baker, Sandy Alexander with you for the Community Profile. Sandy, the executive producer of our show. Good morning to you, Sandy.
Good morning, Milton.
And it's good to see you here. Bright, sunny day.
I mean, it's bright and sunny.
The cold weather on the way again.
That's what I hear.
Well, it's good to be back for another edition of the Community Profile. Of course, this program is heard Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on WLON, WOHS, and WCSL, and you can watch and listen on ktcbroadcasting.com. Just click on the live studio feed, and there we are. Let's wave. Hey. Sandy, would you please introduce our guest for today?
I'll be glad to. It's good to have with us, celebrating 100 years. Not him, the business. Paul Haynes Jr. is with us. It's good to have you, Paul.
Well, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
I was telling folks a little bit ago on the air that you came in my store one day, the antique store there in Krause, and we got to talking. I found the Haynes Dairy story very interesting, and especially over 100 years in operation, you'd have a few interesting stories. Now, who started Haynes Dairy? Was it your grandfather?
My grandfather, Harbin Haynes.
Harbin Haynes.
Yeah.
Started Haynes Dairy.
He started Haynes Dairy, and he started with a horse and wagon.
How about that? Just delivering product wherever it needed to go.
Well, what he did, his very first venture, is he milked his cows and put that milk in the cans, and he went ahead a step further to help his neighbor farmers for a fee. He would pick up their cans of cream and would take it to Russell Blanton Creamery in Lincoln, which was the old Coble Dairy. And that's how he started in 1914.
1914. So here it is 100 years later, and still in the family, still in operation.
Still family business. And I'm the third generation, and my two sons are the fourth generation.
So you plan to keep it going for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I've got 4 grandkids. Would love to see one pick it up to go a 5th generation if possible.
Yeah. Now, Haynes Dairy, is it the we hear a lot about it. Are there any other dairies around the Lincoln and Lincoln County area that are still in operation, or maybe you guys are the oldest operating, perhaps?
Well, there's still some dairies that milk cows, but we've been we've had milk cows, and then we've been a processor. My daddy and my granddaddy were processors, and then before my father died, he became a distributor, and that's what we've done ever since. So we've been involved in the dairy business one way or the other for 100 years.
So now you're not exactly going out now and milking cows every day?
No,
okay.
We have beef cattle on the old dairy farm.
Oh, okay. So a different little business going there.
Yes.
Sandy?
I found it interesting that you went on to school to be a teacher.
I did.
And but then circumstances caused you to have to come back.
Right. I was teaching school in the Western End, coaching, and my father unfortunately died on his milk route down in Gastonia in 1971. And at that time, to keep the business going, I decided to put in my notice and take over at that time.
Now, over the years, when you and I were talking a few weeks ago at the store, you were telling me some of the ideas and innovations that your, I guess it was your grandfather came up with, some of the celebrities that he used for endorsements. And it left other distributors and dairies kind of playing catch up to your grandfather's innovations and insight into
Right.
marketing.
Well, one of the things my granddaddy did uptown where the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce is, he had a dairy bar.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt, she worked there. And another thing he did, he had a ice cream parlor out at the old home place that people of 85 or years older will remember. Mm-hmm. And on the weekends, they could go there and get a nickel cone of ice cream.
How about that?
Now, my daddy, when he became a processor, when he came out of war, he picked up Wild Bill Hickok and Jingles to put on the cartons. And what he was doing is trying to stay up with the competition. A lot of them had Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and like that. Mm-hmm. And it was a very competitive business, and still is. Mm-hmm. But they were just using different methods to try to get one up on the competition.
Okay, so they kept who could one outdo the other.
Right. Who could be the most appealing dairy and have the most sales was the name of the game.
Yeah. Tell us about. You said Hopalong Cassidy was endorsed your product. Tell us a little bit.
Well, Hopalong Cassidy and Wild Bill Hickok and people like that, children loved cowboys. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they'd watch TV and see these people on TV. And then if you got your name on a carton of your product, then naturally in the grocery store, the kids would see that, and that would appeal to them. And then they'd ask their mother, hey, let's buy this milk. I watched this TV show. Mm-hmm. So this just what everybody did back then. Now, that's long gone now.
Yeah, yeah.
But cowboys was a favorite thing for small kids. Mm-hmm. And grown-ups, too, I might add.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And there's probably some highly valued collectibles now that your dairy or other dairies used out there, celebrity endorsements. There's probably some very highly sought after collectibles from that time period.
There is, and one of my hobbies is collecting dairy collectibles. Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Well, for 32 years, my daddy started it, and I finished it before Borden's pulled out. But Elsie the cow and her family, if you remember, was on TV. Mm-hmm. And I have the talking cow that came from High Point, and about 1,500 Borden items in my dairy museum. Yeah. And it just goes hand in hand with our heritage. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed the advertising and thought that each individual piece told a story. Mm-hmm. Now, I know a lot of people collect Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Texaco oil, but to keep abreast with our heritage, I just started collecting dairy collectibles, and that's why I was in your store looking for dairy collectibles.
Yeah, yeah. You were asking me about that, and I know one of the popular milk bottles that people asked me for, and I didn't have any at the time, but I did come across one found its way in the store the other day. But they are the Haynes dairy bottles, and they are pretty highly collectible.
They are.
How many different bottles Haynes dairy bottles would you say you have in your own personal collection?
As far as different kinds and versions and tops and designs, between my grandfather and my daddy, I've probably got about 30 different kinds and designs. Mm-hmm. But as far as numbers, it goes into the hundreds. Yeah. But it's really interesting how they would make a change, again, trying to get one up on the competition. Mm-hmm. The last carton that my daddy produced in 1955 was made by American Can. It was a square-looking carton. Mm-hmm. And there are a few floating around in Lincoln County, and it'll say Haynes Dairy chocolate drink or Haynes Dairy buttermilk. Mm-hmm. There was one flaw in that carton. It was waxed coated, and sometimes too much wax would be put on, and the wax would naturally get in the milk. Mm-hmm. But what solved all that from cartons then on, became plastic coated, and they're still plastic coated.
Okay.
So that was an innovation that was an improvement.
Yeah. Sandy, you have a question?
Do you remember when they converted totally all to the carton and not the bottle?
Yes, I do remember that.
So they'd quit using the glass altogether and went straight to plastic, and that's the way we see it today.
That's the way we see it today.
Yeah, it's hard to really fathom a time in this world where you know the milkman brought the milk bottle by, or you bought the bottle at the store, and I guess those bottles were recycled? I guess
They were.
Yeah.
When I was a senior in high school, we were short on help, and at 1 o'clock each day I would get up and deliver house to house for my father, and then go to school.
Yeah.
So I didn't just hear about it; I was involved in it.
You lived it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I can tell you this: the wooden crates and the glass bottles were quite heavy. What there is used today is much lighter.
Yeah, yeah. Just I got a few old milk cans there at the antique store. They're heavy enough to tote around. I can imagine them being full of milk, how heavy they would be. But now, in present day, 100 years later, the dairy, describe the operation now, number of employees and things like that.
Okay. Well, we've been primarily talking about milk. I will let you and Sandy and other people that don't know, we quit distributing milk in 1986,
Okay.
and decided just to do ice cream. Our everyday operation is now we have 3 routes. My son, Kane, runs one of them, and we have 2 other employees, Scott Warlick and Sam Ledbetter. And these 3 routes go to each day a different place. We do have just one school route. We work all of Lincoln and Gaston County schools.
Okay.
On Wednesday, we receive a tractor trailer, and that product is produced in Winston-Salem and warehoused to Statesville, and they ship it from Statesville to our location about 3:30 on Wednesdays. And my son and I get up and we check the loads and load the routes, and time they're ready to go on their route about 6 o'clock. Everything is in its place if the trailer comes in on time.
Yeah, okay. Current day economics being what they are, how has the dairy, has it affected the dairy operation, the Haynes operation, the economy the last 5 or 6 years?
The last 5 or 6 years, Milton, has been extremely hard on us. Diesel fuel, $4 a gallon. Tires that go on these trucks, $400 a piece. Trying to come up with some type of health insurance. We don't call us a prospering business. We are a survivor. And I'll have to admit, the bottom line, the last 4 or 5 years, is shrinking as we speak. We do the best we can with what we've got. Hopefully things will turn around in the economy and prices go down that we handle. But yes, we've had a battle just like everyone else.
Yeah, and it's just an amazing thing. We see day after day reports of longtime businesses who are not making it or are merging somewhere else. There's never been anything like that in the Haynes Dairy. You've not merged. You've not been taken over by a larger.
No, we've probably had our chances to sell out or merge, but as long as we can do it, we want to stay just like we are. And I was telling Sandy, not only are my 2 boys involved and my wife involved in this, I do have 4 grandchildren. Now they're fairly young. But we'd love to see this go a 5th generation.
Sure. Yeah.
I just don't know many businesses that go 5 generations. But time will tell. What you hope and what happens may be 2 different things. But we certainly want to stay like we are as long as we can.
Yeah. Yeah. So you like I say you were a teacher, coach. But you came back to the family. We hear about that, a lot.
Yeah, we do.
A person giving up one career to come back and take over the family business, and that's truly what's happened in your case.
Well, my oldest son was a teacher and coach at Shelby High School. In 1997, he felt like the teaching business was something that he didn't want to do for 30 years, so he quit his job there to come into this business.
Yeah.
And my other son had helped us also, Richie, but an opportunity to become the city recreation manager. He felt like that was an opportunity he wanted to take. So we love to see the family be involved, but if the better chance comes along, we understand that too.
Yeah.
And who's to say that when Richie retires from the city that he may come in and help his brother again?
Yeah.
So, I think the key to our survival is family.
Yeah.
It just means a lot.
The family putting their heart and soul into it like they have for 100 years.
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned something, and I didn't know if you want to talk about it, but your museum now, is that an open to the public museum per se, or it's just is a collection that
it's just a collection of about 40 years, Milton. We do have select people and guests occasionally, but no, it's not open to the public.
Okay.
But we enjoy showing it, and it's something to see. But no, it's not open to the public.
Yeah. You mentioned the Elsie the cow memorabilia you have. Other things that you might have in that museum?
Well, I have a Hopalong Cassidy mannequin and Elsie standing outside the museum, and they both talk.
Okay.
Oh.
They're animated. And things that I have is everything that I can find from Haynes Dairy, which is thermometers, bottles, cartons, greeting cards, Christmas pencils. That was a lot that my granddaddy and daddy put out. And then Borden's was the world's largest in the 50s through the 90s. They had a lot of memorabilia. I have about 1,500 pieces of Borden's memorabilia. And then I collect other dairies' memorabilia too, such as the local, like Biltmore Dairy. Me and Sandy talked about Biltmore, Coble, Carolina Dairy, Cabarrus Creamery. A lot of local dairies that I was friends with and competed against. But I started collecting dairy memorabilia 40 years ago when nobody else thought that was the thing to get into.
Yeah.
And now people would love to come across that type of stuff
Sure.
to put in their carports, their basements, and recreation rooms and that type of thing.
Well, their antique store to sell.
But again, it just went hand in hand with our heritage and what I enjoyed, and in fact, I probably have overdone it.
No, there's never too much. There's always room for one or two more items.
Right.
There. One or two more items. Well, now, being a collector of sorts, not of sorts, but the collector that you are, have you run into and made friends with other groups of collectors? I mean, I guess it's kind of, you can't help but, cross paths with others who collect.
I think most people that collect will tell you the most enjoyable thing about collecting is meeting other people. Cecilia, my wife, and I have traveled as far north as Saratoga Springs, New York. We've traveled as far west as Dallas, Texas, and these were on trips to collect things and meet friends. And there's more people in collecting dairy memorabilia than you might think.
Oh, yeah.
And but that is one of the positives of collecting.
Yeah, the friendships you make.
Yes.
I can vouch for that in the antique and collectible business myself. Since we've opened the store, especially, I've made a lot of new friends. But before the store ever came about, just collecting what things I liked, I made a lot of good friends doing that. So 100 years Haynes Dairy. I have seen some signs around Lincoln, folks, congratulating the company, the business, and so it's something Lincoln and Lincoln County area is very proud of having a 100-year. Any business that lasts 100 years is amazing.
Well, we know that we've been lucky to have the friends in Lincoln, Gaston, Cleveland County like we've had, and we look at it as not a job we have to do, but it's an opportunity to serve our friends, and that's a big difference there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a job that you don't like and you're just doing it for money, you won't last. But in the schools, the stores, the rest homes, the hospitals, the supermarkets, we look at it as an opportunity, not something that we have to do.
Yeah, yeah. It's a like I said, a well-respected name and business in the area, and folks out there wishing you another 100 years with the 4th, 5th, 6th generation. Hope it keeps going on and on.
Well, it's a day-by-day operation, and we'll continue to do the best we can with what we have.
Sandy?
Well, I think running it as a family, like you said, to go from your grandfather, then through your 2 sons, and it's our hope that your grandchildren will take an interest and let this keep on going on. And I think the success has been that a family working together, going out and branching off into the communities, having a good name. And our people's always talking about a good name will bring up a lot of great business and what you do with that name. So I think this is evident here, and for 100 years.
Yeah. We were talking just before we went on the air. I was in here clicking and doing all kind of stuff on the computers, talking about how technology's changed and touched everything in this world, and I'm sure it has had its impact on your company over the years too. What are some of the from hand milking the cows when you had cows? I'm sure you saw technology change there over the years, and then you got into the distributing part. Lots of different changes.
Well,
going on
modes
there.
of transportation. My granddaddy started horse and wagon, and now we drive these trucks with air conditioning, radio, refrigerated bodies. That's a big change.
Yeah.
One thing that we have not done that will surprise a lot of people, we do not have a computer system for our business. My wife hand types the bills, and in our everyday operations, we use little pocket calculators.
Okay.
We've just elected, and since we're small, Milton, we have about 300 customers. We've just elected to not be computerized and try to save that little bit of money and spend it on something we have to have.
Yeah.
Now, if we were a 3,000 customer operation, that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that have changed, but pleasing the customer is still paramount.
Oh yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
If you do that, everything else will fall in place.
And when you're not just inserting numbers into a computer and somebody goes by an account number, they can sense the more hands-on, the personal touch your customers can, and I think it's a good thing. It's an amazing thing that you can still do it the pre computer age way. I think that's great. Yeah.
Well, we when a customer calls in on a daily basis and has a problem, we will address that problem that day. It won't be put in a pile of papers and hopefully get to it within a week or two. If their ice cream box is down, we're going to approach it. If they need a product that day, we're going to approach it. If they're going to expand their business and need another ice cream box, we're going to approach that. So I guess the secret to us being successful, one of them is hands-on individual customers, and it doesn't matter if it's one customer or a customer that has 20 stores. We try to give it all equal attention.
Yeah. All right. So what's next? What's the rest of your day and your week look like now for Haynes Dairy this week?
Well, my son is going to come in off his route around lunch, and we're going to go move about 3 ice cream boxes.
Okay. So there's
Always
heavy
something to
lifting to
do.
be done.
Heavy lifting to be done. And then tomorrow we will start back working our schools.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, school's
But
out today.
you actually caught me on a morning that I had off.
Okay. All right. Well, we're glad you could be here.
Absolutely.
Really enjoyed talking to you today, and of course meeting you a week or so ago down at the store. We had a good long conversation, and then I was driving through downtown Lincoln, and I saw one of the banks on their lighted sign, congratulations or good luck, congratulations. I think it was congratulations, Haynes Dairy. And I said, this is something everybody's talking about. We need to talk about it on the radio.
Right.
So glad you could make it in today.
Well, thank you so much, and we just want to thank the people in Lincoln and Grady area that have been so kind to us, and we'll keep trying to give them the best service that we can.
All right. 100 years of business, 100th anniversary,
right.
Haynes Dairy in Lincoln.
That's right.
All right, Paul Haynes, our guest today, Sandy, and we've got something timely to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow night's low is going to be about 13 degrees.
That's right.
And a couple days ago, we talked to Cherryville Fire Chief Jeff Cash about coming in and talking to us about safety issues while trying to stay warm in all these cold temperatures. So a timely guest tomorrow, Jeff Cash.
Absolutely. He'll be here tomorrow, and we are going to address some of those issues. And then on Wednesday, Pam Stone will be calling in to the station here. Jill Miracle will be our guest. So we've
got a good week.
Yeah, I got a real good week.
And got started off on a good one today with
Yes, we did.
Paul Haynes from Haynes Dairy. So we appreciate everybody listening and hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, if you have any topics or persons of interest you think would make good guests for the show here, just let us know. Give Sandy a call. She especially likes you to call her about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be glad to give out that phone number.
I hear you.
I just always have to say something there, Sandy.
I know you do.
Okay. We'll see you later, folks. Bye-bye.
We're making friends in the morning.
Every morning, I just think you're the best.
Tell your friends about us.
WHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, WCSL Cherryville Gastonia. Here's what's up in Cleveland, Gaston, and Lincoln counties right about